Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm your pal Cal, and today we're going to take a second from our regular broadcast and we're going to talk about something kind of disappointing in a sense. There is a project, or was a project, called the Interrupt. Now the Interrupt was a Cyberdeck that was powered by a Raspberry Pi Zero 2W, or supposed to be powered by a Raspberry Pi Zero 2W, and basically it was supposed to be a Flipper Zero like Cyberdeck, powered by a Raspberry Pi Zero 2W, once again, a keyboard, infrared receiver, transmitter, sub-gigahertz, RFID, NFC RFID, pretty much everything that you would find in a Flipper Zero, plus Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and expandability, a custom UI. They advertised everything that they could possibly try to sell you in a Cyberdeck. And this was about a year ago. Now, there were a lot of red flags, even for me in particular. Now, did I have the money to back this? No. As a matter of fact, even if I did, I wouldn't have, because there were some tells that this was going to be a complete trash heap, but I wouldn't discover that like the serious dumpster fire that was this project until much later. Today we're going to talk about this project, show you a timeline of what they did and what they did wrong, as well as how it was doomed from the very beginning. Now, it is noteworthy to mention that a couple of content creators did warn about this product. For example, Talking Sasquatch had mentioned from the very beginning in his video about this product that maybe something ain't right. Because the way they had laid everything out, all of it was AI rendered. Images, every single thing was just a telling that this was going to be a very bad time. And not a bad time for, the people selling the shtick, but the people who are buying this whole thing of, Flipper Zero Cyberdeck. And to anybody watching, if you did back this product, I would like to ask you to please pay attention next time when you see tells where somebody's investing 100% in marketing as opposed to innovation. That tells you everything that you could possibly know about that product. Now, there are some ways where that doesn't apply, especially when a product has completely, let's say, funded everything within the first 6 minutes, for example. And then they want to, let the world know that they have a new device that they're coming out with, but they've already met their goal. They're already working on a prototype. They've already have a working model. There's so many things that come into play here where you can actually then go into the realm of marketing. And it usually involves, at first, having an idea of what you're doing. Now, the idea behind the Interrupt was pretty much make the ultimate hacker's Cyberdeck, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Full disclosure, one of the main creators, I guess, that started this whole Kickstarter scam had nothing to do with cybersecurity at all, let alone hardware. He was a sticker creator, and there's nothing wrong with being, a sticker maker on Etsy, because that's exactly what he was. He was a sticker maker at Etsy. But there's a few things in the timeline that don't make sense to me personally, and I find kind of a little bit suspicious. For example, it seems like they spawned their idea once devices like the BeepBury, PiBury, those type of Cyberdecks became open source projects. And you can take a PiBury or a BeepBury and stick on any module that you'd like and then turn it into a multi-use Cyberdeck and run everything straight from the command line. That's definitely possible. But I don't believe in coincidences. So it seems to me that maybe this Etsy guy, maybe, we're not going to say names here, but he saw that there was this open source project and thought to himself, I like the Flipper Zero, seeing companies like Rabbit Labs and DA Tech Labs and a bunch of these, Flipper Zero board creators that were on Etsy at the time, as well as Cybertech Solutions, which was Carbon Computers' whole thing on Etsy, or I believe still is. And there's, maybe thought to himself, man, it'd be funny if we could combine all that together. That's my theory. I could be wrong, though. I could be completely out of whack and out of touch. But the timeline adds up. That a project gets open sourced and somebody thinks to himself, I have an idea. I don't have a working product, but I have an idea, and I think I can build up enough hype and spend enough money on marketing to make that idea come true. And that's where we come into this gross area of things, where somebody wants to take their dreams, but you're going to pay for it. This to me doesn't really make sense. I've had boards where I've sat on for 5, 7 months, even a year, because I could not afford to make boards. And every maker and designer either open sources their boards or they sit on it and they wait until they can afford to make those purchases that are technically feasible. But getting people to back your idea when you have nothing from the start, everything is just fluff. All of it is fluff. Everything that they showed in their promo video that we're gonna watch in a second it's there was nothing ever there. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing ever there. They kept doing updates, and if you criticize them in their Discord server, there were kind of like what the M1 Multitool did, which was try to quick to mob attack your character, belittle you, gaslight you, things of that sort. I've seen this so many times, and it's disgusting, man. I don't know why these people get as far as they do doing this type of evil stuff, man. And I am very happy that the project imploded. And I'm happy it imploded because I knew it was going to do this. Some of the things that they had featured together, I personally had been trying to get done for a year. For example, we have the Carbon Computer's Cyber T, and I've been trying to put NFC on this thing for months now. And after confronting so many other awesome members of the community like Equip and Hamspice, I came to the belief that there is no way that I can adapt the NFC antenna onto the keyboard, for example. Maybe with a shield that I can attach then on it, onto the back. Think of a sandwich board, things together that then work in unison. That might work. But this isn't, it isn't possible without a lot of money. And even then, it wouldn't perform well as a standalone board and with a repeater.
All right, so their Kickstarter page is still up. We had 2,845 backers. That's $500,000. And they're saying that they didn't. Oh my God, I despise these people. The ultimate sub-gigahertz, 1 gigahertz pocket gadget for hackers. Let's scroll down and see. Pocket-sized Linux pen testing gadget. What is the Interrupt? The Interrupt is a compact, versatile device engineered for cybersecurity experts and technology enthusiasts, boasting a playful gadget-like design. Its core mission is to use Linux and its tools to navigate and interrogate the digital terrain. Wow, they really went hard on this description. Encompassing radio frequency, security access mechanism, electronics, and more. Oh my God. The Interrupt encapsulates the essence of combining a wide array of research security testing tools into a single portable unit. Right from the start, the Interrupt is packed with a plethora of capabilities and functionalities. It stands out for being open source and modifiable is crazy, inviting users to expand its potential alongside a collaborative community. There is no collaborative community. There was just you guys. This is crazy. Interrupt aims to revolutionize and landscape prototyping, technological investigation, security assessments. It's offering a sleek, multifunctional platform to cater to any prototyping, hardware exploration, and a penetration testing needs as well, to provide a little fun. So this is what it was going to look. Touchscreen display, 3.5, your standard touchscreen. They had that little thing right there, to make it look like they actually had something small and compact. Interrupt is a portable hacking computer with a 2,000 milliamp hour battery. That might be the best feature here. A handy directional pad, a crystal clear 3.5-inch color display, and all the main functions and scripts are available from Interrupt's GUI menu. And further technical analysis is needed. You can jump into the terminal and type commands on the keyboard. Okay, let's start this from the jump. Let's say there was an Interrupt terminal. Let's say there was a GUI, right? If there was a GUI, that's all we would need is a 3.5-inch display, a keyboard, let's say a Cyberdeck, anything. I literally have this minus all the extra bells and whistles. I own 3 of these. So basically, what bothers me here is it's all powered by a Raspberry Pi 02W, okay? And they're saying that there's they're saying there's a GUI. If there was a GUI from the jump, don't you think they would have, from the start, showed off ways where we can basically get everything going? It would be available. All you need is a Raspberry Pi 02W. I mean, they're boasting open source here, and to me, this just seems like it's open source abuse, but that's neither here nor there. CC1101 chip, Okay, where? Like where? And they show you, scanning and access control. I hate this. This little thing where they like, look at me, scan a door and open it. Oh my God. RFID, radio frequency identification, uses electronic medic. Oh my God, it's just telling you what RFID is. Infrared. Okay, you got this lady right here. Changing a channel. Okay, all right. Well, we'll go with it. GPI opens on the bottom or on the top. Nope, this is definitely the top. Oh man, just seeing this kind of pisses me off. And this right here, I love it when people do this and they have no idea what it means or have provided nothing. Most likely taking advantage of another open source project to rip off people and try to call it their own. This is a common, to me, this is seen so often nowadays, and it's annoying, man. It's annoying. This is why open source projects become closed, because of dillweeds like this guy. Terminal. All right, interrupt at interrupt 32. With interrupt, you have the power of a Linux terminal. I mean, no crap, dude. It's powered by a Raspberry Pi 02W. You would think that this is just insane. So this is what the GUI was supposed to look like, but we never got a GUI. If there was a open source GUI, don't you think people will, all they would need is a Raspberry Pi 02W, that 3.5-inch IPS display that almost everybody has at one point gotten, and it's saying Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Let's take a look at the specs real quick. Do we have a full-sized USB port? Because without a full-size, nope, we don't have a full-sized USB port. So this was only limited to the 2.4 gigahertz band, and even at the time, that's kind of annoying. Let's experimental commitments. Yeah. Long-lasting design, that's dead. Reusability and recyclability, there is nothing. Sustainable parts, there were nothing. Okay, let's go through the timeline, because the timeline is what's really annoying to me. Because they continuously, it was hype, and then up until, let's say, when did they go dark? So this is their last update. Yep, this was from their guy. So we got the 23 and 22. Let's start it off, let's call it March 1st. Yeah, this is maybe when it started getting just obviously bad. All right, so this was their first update. It said, we're fully funded, thank you, $100-something thousand, 606 backers. This, this gets everybody happy. You look at this and you're like, wow, we did it. We did such a great job. Let's go up. It says, thank you for power 250K. Prototyping progress and efficiency. This is May 9th, 2025. So remember, this was supposed to come out in 2025 and everything got all, thrown out of whack. That confounded DEF CON or whatever. Let's see. We want to share our story. We are attending DEF CON, building prototypes, chasing the dream, and turning our passion into something real. Now, full disclosure, I was not at DEF CON 2025, but from what I heard, nobody saw no such thing. You just had a bunch of hype. That's all it was. It was a bunch of hype. God forbid I click comments right now. I don't even want to read that. Let's all of 2025 was a lie. Let's go up. January 12th. Hold on. November 20th. Oh my God. November 30th until January 4th, 2026. That's kind of a big gap. But you could just chalk that up to the holidays, man. Let's start off here. First off, we want to be transparent. This is a key word here. About how the process affects in our original plan. We were aiming to ship in November. Yeah, that clearly didn't happen. Let's see what moved. It said we changed the displays. Oh my God. You changed the displays. The new display uses the ST77996S driver. Well, at least that's the driver you probably should have started from the jump, but that's neither here nor there. They didn't even have a PCB ready. And they kept saying something about the RF antenna. I've seen this movie before, man. An updated timeline snapshot, and then they have this picture of this PCB. Now, when I saw this picture, I didn't see anything that they claimed that was going to be on it. I don't see anything here that's even in the realm of RFID. I don't see anything in the realm of anything RFID. The GPIO pins seem to have changed. And I've just seen something like this before, because I'm me. We do have an infrared transmitter right there, I believe, right there up in the corner, and a receiver. They use the same one as you'd find on the Kisu, for example, so, it's not like they really went out of their way. It looked like, oh, man. Let's go back. Let's take another look. Oh, the PCB review passed and final prototypes. Firmware, milestone, GUI focus. All right. Well, if it was open source or they had anything ready, why don't you think that there would at least be a GitHub repo? At the very least, man. Come on, bro. Wrapping up, PCB design has passed review. And then we have this enclosure, not a PCB, an enclosure. Nothing here suggests anything at all. If anything, this is how you hype people who have no idea what they're doing. You know what I mean? Or what they're even looking at. This is dummy. This is just a dummy file. It's dummy CAD. That's all it is. Let's go back. Let's take a look here. Interrupt project. We're excited that we've officially moved to the pre-production prototyping phase. Have you now? Have you? RF testing. Fine-tuning the equipment. All right. So this was in March 1st. Here we go. On April 3rd, we got this picture right here. So I'm going to guess right now I'm looking at an RFID antenna. I can guarantee you that thing is atrocious if even it works at all. And this is the picture that they shared to get everybody all hyped. Antenna 1, antenna 2. What even is that? Huh. You know, I could be mistaken. They could be using UFLs here so that they could then extend the antenna somewhat like we see in other boards. That's a big buzzer. Why did they put such a big what in the ever-living... Oh, yeah. What is this, a PN532? I don't even know if they use the ST25R or the PN532. Then we got this old man picking with... Man, I need to get one of those, actually. I just recently broke mine. But, yeah, this PCB, I'm not even going to lie to you. It doesn't look the best. I don't know why they went with red. But, this kind of makes me skeptical. Like, and I was skeptical. And I was right to be skeptical because all of this was built on a lie. All of it. Because this is where it gets kind of weird. Right? So we're going to go all the way up. And this is their latest update. May 13th, 2026. The Interrupt team thanks you for your participation and patience. Currently, we are taking the steps necessary to evaluate the cost of the engineering work that has been completed and additional engineering work required in order to determine the viability of the Interrupt project. Over the course of development, we have invested significant time, effort, and personal funding into... Not personal funding is insulting. Into bringing Interrupt to life. In addition, we have engaged 2 separate licensed professionals to review our initial design work for the purpose of completing that task. Both professional teams provided a detailed estimate of the cost of completion of the design and manufacturing a prototype. Unfortunately, despite multiple attempts to move forward on the project, the estimated cost provided by the engineers to conduct the engineering work required to complete the device continued to significantly increase and consistently exceeded the original estimates, timelines, and costs that was originally presented to us. Critical portions of the project were not completed as promised, and after repeated efforts, we have begun to question whether the project can be completed within the realistic or financially sustainable scope as was originally provided by the professional engineers. In order to make a final decision, it is our intention to carefully review that the work has been completed at the cost assigned to that work. We will then determine what additional work it costs to remain to complete the Interrupt project. Oh my God, this is diabolical. With the information and analysis, we believe that there will be a position... With the information and analysis, we believe we will be in a position to realistically assess future viability of the Interrupt project given the time and financial constraints of the remaining work and completed with the remaining available funds. So you didn't spend it all. Once the process is complete, we will provide additional information to you with our planned course of action. We know many of you believed in this project as strongly as we did, and we genuinely appreciate the effort, encouragement, and patience the community has shown throughout this journey. Let's read the comments. I'm done with Kickstarters. They have scammed more producers. They deleted their Facebook page also. I was going to mention this. Taking the money and running. LOL, this was obviously going to happen. A con from day one. Hi, I think we could finalize all of us together. Why don't you make another campaign to raise more money? And for the people who have already pledged, offer something extra if they want to pledge again. This, and to all backers, the price of components has significantly increased. That is a lie. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let's go over this. Any part that is in here has not gone up. They were not in RAM. This is DDR2, bro. This is DDR2. What are you talking about? What components? An SD25R still cost the same. The PN532 still costs the same. There's so many NFC RFID modules. Everlight, infrared transmitter still costs the same. There's so much that there's nothing that is increased for this project in particular. That is a lie. If the reasoning was true, they'd suggest a price increase to cover the unexpected expenditure for production, but no, they are reevaluating the situation. That's because this was run by a bunch of lunatics. This is what happens when like a businessman wants to dive into a niche or a community that has no idea what he's doing. That's what this is, man. This is insane. This is like absolutely, it's like I gotta give it to Sasquatch from the jump because he knew it. And I looked at it and I knew it. So many people looked at it and was like, man, something ain't right. Now, I didn't look at that. I looked at the timeline. If you look at the timeline and when the Pie Berries and, Solder Party, all of these projects kind of basically came to life, then this suddenly popped up. Like, that's not what happened. Oh, no. Who could have seen this coming? There's no way that anyone could have possibly told you all this. Exactly. If someone could have done that for all the backers on this scam. Camping is crazy. And those backers, listen to the folks in the experience. Please, when giving your money to people who don't heed, oh, my God. Yo, man, thanks for stealing our money. I do really have to stop trusting anything on Kickstarter thanks to scammers. You know, Sean, you're 100% right. I agree with you, bro. Yeah, original pitch made me believe when you were ready to go with a functioning product. That is key here, because all of this crap, all of this right here, this whole shtick, well, oh, they disabled the video. No way. That's insane. Yo, these people are diabolical, dude. Oh my God. Let's go to comments. This is gonna be great. Oh my, I'm so sorry to anybody who backed this product. I'm not laughing at you. I hate these people. Like, it's just crazy, dude, that they can do something like this. And it's perfectly fine because they advertised a completed product. And they were just like, oh, we have prototypes. There was never a prototype, bro. It was a scam from the start. You can't do some of the things that they said that you could do on one single PCB.
So here's just the thing. They ended it with, we're reassessing funds. Okay. You made $500,000. That's a $500,000. And for all of you guys watching, it does not cost not even $50,000 to develop something that you're actually passionate about, especially if you have a team. And if you had $10,000, $5,000, we've seen projects come to life with a fund goal of $10,000, 1,000 times more innovative and exciting than that. When somebody focuses all of their resources onto the marketing, that should be a giant red flag right there. That should be the biggest red flag right there. You invested all of your resources into getting people to talk about your product as if it was ready, as if it was done. They closed their Facebook page. They deleted the initial video because they don't want to be criticized. I hate people like this. This type of person has no place even trying to venture out into a niche or a community where he has no business to be in. What do you mean? You have no experience in hardware. You have no experience in nothing. You don't know nothing. I guarantee you this man doesn't know how to run a terminal. This is the most despicable type of human being that could ever possibly spawn out of the interwebs in the beginning at all. Like, you wanted everybody to be excited. This is what pissed me off about the M1 Multitool. Let's get you excited. And if you criticize, we'll get everybody on you. We'll get you we get our hounds on you. We'll make sure that you feel bad. We'll make sure that you leave on your own account. And when you complain to everybody, nobody cares. Because that's a close-knit group of circle jerking, whatever the hell you want to call them. Like, you get what I'm saying here? even in their discords, when people try to slightly ask questions, and when you come across a project where people don't want you to ask questions, you're going to be excited. You better be excited, because if you're not, we'll sick the dogs on you. That's diabolical. You should be able to ask questions, especially if you back a project. And when people like this spawn from hell to try to sell you a dream, avoid them at all costs. Let them die on their own. That project wasn't. You know, I look at projects like the Poom project, that just something fun that they wanted to build themselves, built on a dream, built on something they wanted to do themselves. Funding was incredibly low. There was no advertising fund, which is why I admired that project so much, because it's just something that they wanted to see come true. They had an engineer making a tool for another engineer that wanted to gang like together. That's beautiful. The Flipper Zero is successful in its own right because that's how it was done. I mean, sure, one of the creators spent a whole lot of money partying, but at the very end, we got arguably the most successful pen testing gadget in the world today. There's so many examples of successful Kickstarters. You have the Cardpeter Zero right now coming out very soon. That is exactly what that is trying to be, except better and available. You know what I mean? Like, it's possible. The Raspberry Pi Zero 2W is such a fun single board computer to play with because you could do so much with it. Matter of fact, if M5 Stack threw NFC on it, there you go. Interrupt, done. Full GUI, support of the entire community working together to kind of push it even further than it started. And there's an actual working prototype. You could also say, oh, that's a larger company backed by the biggest chip manufacturer in the world. Okay. I've seen Mike from Carbon Computers bring ideas from zero to life. I've watched revisions of the Cyber T happen, which is basically that. Basically, we were working on that before that came out, which is why that kind of confuses me, because it's like, yo, I've been trying to put NFC on a board properly forever, and I don't know how to do that. And I've asked people who do know how to do that, and they've all said the same thing. It does not work based on that type of, it basically costs a lot of money to get that to work. But even if you got that to work, it would be super subpar, like insanely subpar. And then what are they going to do? Oh, we ran out of money. Pull the whole M1 deal. Let the community take care of it. Go on, peons. Work my firmware for me. Get it ready for the other peasants. Like, what kind of people is this, man? And I apologize, guys. This blew my mind. And I am so happy that they're actually like they finally imploded. And I don't mean that. I'm very disappointed that people lost their money. But there's got to be repercussions for this. That's what I'm trying to get at here. This cannot just happen, man. Like, I'm not saying mob. I'm not encouraging violence. I'm just saying, like, that there should be safeguards in place. There should be people who look at the next project that comes out and go, that's a red flag. Interview the developer. None of these people wanted to really even talk. And when they did, they wanted you to be super excited. They were very selective. That's what confuses me. So next time you come across something like that, be very careful, please, because there's got to be some sort of accountability. And to the interrupt devs or whatever the hell, to the interrupt sticker salesman, you. We'll see you next time.